Hello, everybody, and welcome to the LFC Transfer Room live stream with myself, Rigo, and Race. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this Sunday evening where I am, and maybe Sunday afternoon where Rigo and Race are. Not exactly the result that we were hoping for, unfortunately. We kind of just, same as the FA Cup, 27 shots as opposed to fuck all by United, and just gifted them another point when they shouldn't have had it. And that's just unfortunately the way it is at the moment. Now, personally, myself, I don't think the league is gone, but we'll be asking that question of both the panelists and the chat. I just feel like, as Rigo mentioned just before we started, that it's out of our hands now, and I would have much until they drop points, and that's if they drop points. So we need favours from other teams between now and the end of the season, which is not the way I would have liked to have ended it. I would have liked to have at least had the league in hand a couple of games before we finish. But look, wishful thinking. Liverpool never do things the easy way. If your asshole isn't perpetually puckered, you're not a Liverpool fan. That's the way that I've just gone with things this season. Rigo, a couple of thoughts in the game. Myself and yourself are going back and forth in the group chat. Just wasted chances, man. That was the story of the past two games against United. What do you think?
Definitely. Great to see you, first of all, both of you guys. Steven, it's been a while, a good time, good long time. Race, nice to see you as well. Mm-hmm. Just as you mentioned, wasteful. So many opportunities to take a comfortable lead, not just a 1-0, but 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. Could have been a rout easily. At one point, they did not have a shot on target the entire first half. Wouldn't have had a shot on target for God knows how long, up until Kwanzaa errantly passed the ball in midfield and had it stolen by Bruno. Credit to that rodent that he was fast on his feet and did take a shot when he did. He hesitates even for a split second, and Kelleher gets his mitts to it, I'm sure, at least for a deflection to save it. So credit to him. But and Maino's goal also was really good as well. In the end, we had to get bailed out by Elliott. Once more showing how valuable he is to this team, making a difference coming off the bench, but truly disappointing. The league was in our hands to control our own destiny, and at this moment, it is not unless we start absolutely routing teams. So it's still in our hands, but we just need to start really chucking in goals, winning some 5-0, 6-1s, and just ending the season on a really hot streak. But yeah, just very, very disappointing. And for you, Steven, you have not that much of your day to go over here. Yeah. For us here in the States, we have the rest of our day to go. I have plenty of errands to go ahead and do with the family. So I'm going to have to try and put this to bed soon after this post-match to try and enjoy life.
I got the rest of the week to go, man, before we play again. I'm noticing a lot in the comments here. There's a lot of negativity. El Hero here mentioned our defense is the weakest among the title contenders. No, that'll actually be Man City's because they have more goals conceded than us. Next manager needs a potent striker. You have one. His name is Darwin Núñez. He shouldn't have been taken off. And our defense is not good, sadly. Do you know what? I'm sick of this shit now. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to share the screen because I'm sick of this shit. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the Premier League table, and somebody is going to tell me where, once I take the brand off here. Now, if somebody could please, on the panel, please feel free to shout out, where is Liverpool's goals against here? I believe it's actually the second lowest in the league, if you take a look at it. And the only one that's better than us is Arsenal at the moment, who are only ahead of us on goal difference. They've won one more game than us. They've lost 2 more games than us. So by that proxy, I'd argue that we're the second best defense in the league. So I hate to break it to you, anybody that says that our defense is bad in the league. It's not. So, and as well with Darwin Núñez, we have a striker that's on for a 2020 season. So you can get out of here with that shit too. I'm not having any Darwin Núñez slander on this live stream. I'm going to tell you that right now. Race, my little rant aside. Thoughts on the game itself, similar thoughts to Rigo. We were very wasteful, I found. We could have had that game finished in the first half, and even in the group chat, we were saying this just smells like the FA Cup game, doesn't it?
It absolutely did. I mean, just the way that United concede chances, you have to take them. I mean, it's been a story for them. They've surrendered the most shots in the league, this calendar year, and I'm sure that extends even further as well. You have to take them, and we were so wasteful. And I want to bring up too. You brought up the table there. The 8 draws that we have. I mean, and they said this during our broadcast here, and I didn't realize it, but we have, I think, 7 points from the top 6 sides, I think, this season or something like that. Or we haven't defeated anyone in the top 6 other than Villa, which was like the 3rd game of the season we had at home. Other than that, we haven't defeated a top 6 side, and that's surprising given the fact that, I mean, we usually have success against them. That's kind of been a pillar of the Klopp era, and getting results against good teams. Just the way we play, we're not fearful, we're attacking and whatnot, and that's ultimately what could define this title charge this season, or why we come up short is the draws against bigger sides, and the ability to get points from those big games. And obviously that's a big ask, but that's what you do in a title race. That's what you have to do. You have to win these types of games, and it's so frustrating that you look at the reverse fixture as well. It was a 0-0 draw at Anfield, and another game where we had loads of chances we just didn't convert. And in that game, United were really parking the bus, and they had no desire to attack at all. In this game, they wanted to attack, and I think it was just a horrible game plan by them of just kind of setting that high line, and all the chances they concede. I mean, it's honestly a joke, how they play, but credit to them, they got a result out of it, and it was down to our inability to take those chances. And of course, the mistake from Kwanzaa given Fernandez that goal. And it was a good strike by him, good heads up to put it in the back of the net. But and then the Maino goal was just I mean, it's hard to stop that. But again, we should have been leading in this game by multiple goals, when they scored, or by halftime, by the middle of the second half. It was just so frustrating. I thought Nunez was, it seemed like he just made so many wrong decisions, and I wasn't pleased with his performance today. And I think the whole front line was wasteful as a whole. It wasn't until, again, the subs came on and we were chasing a goal that we looked sharp, and Salah got into the game a little more, and Diaz was obviously he came up with the goal and had some good chances. But overall, just just in those chances that we had, it wasn't, they weren't sitting in a low block. They weren't, just kind of, sitting back and letting us dictate the, it wasn't that type of game. It was more open. It was, the chances were there. And it's just so frustrating that, especially, given we played United just a few weeks ago, and they won that game in a similar style. I mean, if this would have gone to extra time, you could have easily seen a few more goals getting put in. I mean, I forget what the full time was in the FA Cup, but I mean, it was a carbon copy. Just the fact that there wasn't more game time, it really was a similar result. And so it's frustrating. Like you said, the title is out of our hands. We don't control our own destiny as of now. The only thing that the one thing I'm looking forward to is or not looking forward to, but now you have to rely on dropping points from Arsenal. Basically, I mean, we do have a point over City, so in terms of goal difference, that's we have at least the advantage on them. It's all in Arsenal now. Now it's in Arsenal's hands, because their goal difference is too much to catch up. I don't think we're going to catch them. So it's just the position that we're in right now with 7 games to go.
Well, see, the goal difference between us and Arsenal currently at the moment is goal difference. It's nearly 10 over the last couple of games, unless we win Everton 2-0 and they win Everton and they draw a couple of games. Yeah, I don't think the goal difference being caught up there. We need to win on points, basically. City behind us, 2 goals behind us on goal difference. It's I know we're all a little bit defeated now. And look, El Hierro, they do, but we had Man United, and we drew, and we have Spurs as well. And realistically, it's out of our hands at the moment. We have to wait on everybody else. And Rigo, we see here with a lot of people in the comments, well, too, actually, just with El Hierro and Isaac mentioning about Mo Salah's form at the current moment, and just he doesn't seem to have his shooting boots on. Is it worrying for you with this run into the season that he's kind of falling out of form a little bit and he kind of needs to regain it? How would you get him back into form?
Well, the only way to get him back into form, he's going to have to keep playing, obviously. Even on a downslope perhaps of what we expect from him. He's still super dangerous. Still can count on him to nail a penalty. I know we were a few of us were nervous. I was nervous myself. I probably would have given it to Maka to take the shot, but he ended up taking a very good penalty. The chances will keep coming. History proves that he's bound to make them more often than not. So he's obviously gonna have to keep playing. Hopefully Jota does get back and we can rotate a little bit more. During the midweek, I was happy that that Klopp did show that he's able to pull Mo out of the match if he's not, at 100%. And hopefully, if that's the case in any match, Klopp will have more options to throw on the pitch as well. So it is a little worrying. You would like him to bury those chances, and obviously would have come away with a victory if he did nail down a couple of them, especially towards the end where he had one off his right boot. He seems to be skying them instead of hitting them low into the ground and kind of forcing a save. So that's more disappointing to me as opposed to not scoring the goal outright, just getting them on target. But you got to keep your head held high. We can't be defeatist. Again, we're still tied on points for the league. We keep burying some 7-5-0 wins to close out the year, and we come away with the league. So just keep your head held high, guys.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's just we are a hardly ever reactionary fan base at all. We're very level-headed. We don't get too high or too low about anything at all. And today is a perfect example of that. Look, I still fully believe that we're going to win the Premier League this season. It's as Rigo, as you mentioned here in the comments, like long way to go. Yeah, plenty of games. European competition is going to come into this as well. Arsenal are going to have to play Bayern Munich twice, although Bayern Munich are having a bit of an injury crisis at the moment, but that's still not an easy game, especially considering that Bayern Munich have nothing else to play for. And to be perfectly honest, El Hierro, this end of the season, you don't heavily rotate your team whatsoever. You don't. This is the money end of the season. You play your best players, if fit, and you go with your strongest 11 every single time. There's 8 games left. There's how many Premier League? Today's game week 32, so there'll be another 6 games left after this. So then there's 2 more with quarterfinals, 2 more with the semi-finals, another one with the finals. So at the moment there's 11 games left. You play your best 11 for these 11 games, potentially 11 games, and that's the way it is. Like it's the way that it is, and one would hope, and I'm never one to wish this on anybody, but one would hope that maybe an injury hits Arsenal or City and they kind of falter a bit. Like Saka isn't looking himself, albeit he scored a penalty, but he obviously was taken off early for rest for the Bayern Munich game, and it is one of them, and it's just it's sickening. Like there's just a sick taste in my mouth. That's just the way that it is at the moment. That's the way that I view it. But it is what it is. We've drawn 2-2. We got to eat it now for a week until we're back in Premier League action again now against Crystal Palace, which I guarantee you they will not roll over like they did against Manchester City. So it's just all we can do is win our games. We win our games, everything else is in the hands of the other people. And if we consistently win our games, the pressure is on the other teams to keep ahead of us at that point. We win all of our games, we're minimum second. And I to be honest, as disappointing as that would be, if we lose the league on goal difference, there is going to be massive legal ramifications to that, purely because of a particular incident that happened against the team that's playing right now, which is Spurs against Nottingham Forest, because of the goal that was disallowed there and the calamitous error that occurred there. And as somebody mentioned earlier in the chat, we should have had a penalty against Arsenal. It wasn't called with a handball. And we should have had a last-minute penalty against Manchester City that would have possibly won us the game. Both of those goals were not counted. That could be an extra 6 points, and we could be sat 6 points clear. And then if you count the Spurs game, we could be sat 9 points clear. So small margins, as somebody mentioned, but it's just
I mean, we can't even go on that, because how many seasons already have we seen that where refereeing decisions have affected the outcome of who wins the title.
But see, I think this one is purely the legality of it is like Liverpool at the time. Liverpool brought in lawyers to discuss it, and I can guarantee you, and it was said by a lot of the bigger heads on Twitter, that if Liverpool lose the league by anything less than a point, or a point or less, due to that when that goal was scored, because that was scored just before halftime, we would have went up 1-0. So that changes the game completely. Maybe we don't get the second red card. Maybe we're not down to 9 men. Maybe the own goal doesn't happen. Even if they reinstated the goal and gave us a draw, we'd win the league by 1 point. But my point being is that even if it ended the same and that goal counted, it would have been a point. There's lawyers involved in this, and I can guarantee you if such a calamitous error causes us to lose the league because it was a perfectly legal goal that was not counted because of the farce that was in VAR, and there's been plenty of other layers that go on with it, considering they were over in Saudi Arabia the week prior, the VAR team and the referee, and it just so happened to be the same week that Manchester City dropped points, and all of a sudden Liverpool could have gone ahead in the league at that point. There's too many coincidences there in my own mind, and maybe I'm putting my tinfoil hat on, but that's what it is. And it's just shocking, to be honest, that a league that brings in as much money as this does and pays their referees between 74 and 140,000 pounds a year, and VAR match officials get 900 pounds a game. Just bear that in mind too. It's absolutely shocking, to be honest. But look, it is one of them. I feel sick to my stomach, man. That's just the way I feel. Race. We'll get over onto a couple of other points at the moment. Like we've discussed Arsenal and City, and we've mentioned how they have to go through Champions League, and with City playing Real Madrid, and if they get through that, they either have to face Arsenal or Bayern Munich, and Arsenal playing Bayern Munich, and if they get through that, all they have to do is face either Real Madrid or Manchester City. Realistically, that's a tough slog of games. Plus, City also have to play Chelsea in 2 weeks' time in the FA Cup. And then that Spurs game that they were meant to play has now been pushed to the end of the season. And Spurs are already doubling in game week 35 or 36, meaning that in game week 37 or 38, probably 37, City are going to have to double there again, while coming off possibly a Champions League semi-final as well, depending on when that is. So in the run into the games, where do you see either team dropping points at the moment between City and Arsenal, or do you see them dropping points?
It's hard to think that in this 3-team title race, we got 7 games to go, that all 3 teams are gonna win every single game in the league and win out. I mean, that is just would be an incredible, accomplishment. And I think that the argument for City kind of dropping points, not just within the matches themselves, but they've won the Premier League how many times in this era. I mean, how focused really are they on winning the Premier League, and how much can they really switch on? Of course they won the Champions League last season, but they still want to win another Champions League, right? I think that's still something that's a big ambition for them. Premier League, it could be like, oh man, we got 2 teams now challenging us, not just Liverpool, it's Arsenal as well. And so, just I wonder how much their focus they have, but they have all the depth and quality in the world, so you can never count them out. And then Arsenal, I'm looking at that North London derby with Tottenham, because that is going to be Tottenham's Super Bowl, because they know that they can put a damper in Arsenal's title hopes if they get a result from that game. Even a draw would be good, because then we'd go ahead of them. That is a game that I'm kind of circling right now. Again, we have the advantage over City, so of course we need to keep an eye on City, but Arsenal are kind of who we're focused on right now and dropping points. And of course worry about ourselves, but looking at the opponents, that's a game that I'm looking at, that Tottenham game, because that's of course one of the most heavy, intense rivalries that we have in this league. And so I'm pounding the drum for Tottenham, to get a result, not just against Arsenal, but City as well, which will probably come later in the season, that fixture. Just looking at City's running as well. Let me pull it up here. And of course, the Champions League as well. I mean, if City and Arsenal match up in the Champions League, I mean, what kind of dynamic is that, for a title race? That would be, I mean, it really is, for a neutral. This is such an incredible season. I mean, how can you not just love this 3-team battle, a potential matchup in the Champions League? And and Tottenham kind of being the deciding factor in this, possibly playing us all three down the stretch. I mean, it truly is incredible. But
Aston Villa too. Aston Villa play a
and
big
Villa
role.
and Villa as well. Just looking at City's, fixture list, I mean, it's really not that challenging. You think, it's, I mean, I don't know. I still think City, I mean, if there is a team to kind of go through this unscathed, it's going to be City, and that'd be, it sucks to say because then they'd win the league and then be whatever. But I think Arsenal still have that test to pass. I mean, last year they were in the title, and then they bottled it last year. I think they were just kind of lacking that cutting edge, that final stretch of the season. They just kind of fell apart. I think this year we still need to see them have that, and they put themselves in great position. Credit to them. I mean, with the goal difference in the defense, I mean, they've been playing really well since the turn of the year, and so it's just kind of a waiting game. I mean, it's shades of 2 seasons ago when we watch our game and then we watch City and see what they do. I mean, it's really, like I said, it's fascinating for a neutral, but it's just absolutely, I now have 3 games to watch every match week. I got to pay attention to 3 different games because I need to, have some rooting interest and whatnot. And so, but if we're being honest, I mean, that Tottenham Arsenal game is going to be, it could be the deciding factor, because then after that game, it's later this month. And so, yeah, 1, 2, I mean, only a few games left after that. And, once you get into it, I mean, it's just, it's something else. I don't know. It's just,
Yeah, we're all kind of a bit lost for words, realistically.
Yeah, it sucks because, we wanted to have this in our hands, and it was like you said, in years past we haven't had it. We've been chasing points, been really rooting for draws. This time around it is Arsenal, so you at least, it's not City, so you hope that Arsenal are more susceptible to dropping points than City are. But again, Arsenal have been so strong this year. Hopefully, in the Champions League, Harry Kane can do a number on them and really bring their spirits down, for old Tottenham's sake. But it's something else. I mean, it's going to be a long next month or so here, but it's going to be something.
Like I said, if your butthole isn't perpetually puckered, you're not a Liverpool fan. That's just the way it is. If your heart rate isn't consistently at 120 beats a minute, like I really picked 2 shit teams to fucking support if I wanted any cardiac health later on in life, with fucking Liverpool and the San Francisco 49ers. Fuck me, like, but just looking at the fixtures itself. So next weekend, City play Luton at home and Arsenal play Villa at home. And we play Crystal Palace on the Saturday. We play in the middle. So Arsenal will be the last ones to play then. So we do our job then. We sit ahead of Arsenal. And then the job is on Arsenal whether or not they're going to come out and win that game. And I reckon if Ollie Watkins is firing, they may get something there. But Arsenal are obviously on a bit of a high. They also play Bayern Munich this week too. They play Bayern Munich, I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday. And City play Real Madrid either Tuesday or Wednesday. And we play on the Thursday for Atalanta. So... And then the following week after that, Arsenal are playing Chelsea.
One thing to mention too is, like, with us in the Europa League as well, we're going to be playing Sunday games a lot, and so Arsenal and City might be playing Saturday. So you wonder how that dynamic of them,
exactly,
needing the result, knowing that we're looming. But yeah,
straight away the following week after the second fixture of the Champions League, Arsenal are playing on a Saturday. So if they're playing on the Sunday, I'd imagine they're playing Wednesday first. And then if they're playing on the Saturday the following week, they're playing on the Tuesday midweek. So that's a quick turnaround to be playing Tuesday or Wednesday, Sunday, Tuesday, Saturday. That's a very quick turnaround for 4 games in the space of 9 days or something like that. And then I lie, Arsenal do not. Arsenal actually play a double. Arsenal have a double. So not only that, so Arsenal play Wolves on the Saturday, then the following Tuesday they play Chelsea, which means that's the break week between the Champions League quarterfinal and semi-final. And City would then be playing Brighton on Thursday the 25th. So City are basically missing the Saturday, the week of the week of the 20th of April, because they would have been playing Chelsea, but would have been playing Spurs, but that game's been postponed because of the FA Cup. game week 35, then we're playing West Ham away from home. Arsenal are playing Spurs away from home, and City are playing Forest away from home. I can't see City losing that game. Arsenal may end up bottling it there because they would be having Champions League football that week as well if they get past Bayern. And then the following week after that, we're getting into the last 3 game weeks. Play Bournemouth at home for Arsenal, Liverpool play Spurs at home, and City play Wolves at home. Again, there'll be Champions League that week as well. So one would have, and we'd have Europa League that week too. So that plays into it as well. And then the last 2 weeks of the season, City are going to have a double, and they're either going to be playing Fulham and Spurs, or they'll be playing West Ham and Spurs. So that could be crucial as well. Arsenal will be playing United on a Saturday game at 3:00, and then they'll be playing Everton. So if Everton ever wanted to do us a favour, now's the time. And we'll be playing Villa and then Wolves in the last game. And that's how she wraps up. But as it stands at the moment, oh my God, Sheffield are after scoring. That's hilarious. Sheffield United are after scoring against Chelsea. Jesus Christ. I don't understand how we drop points today. Genuinely. It's just one of them mind-boggling ones. Just wasteful. You can only hope that if we throw enough shit at a wall, it'll stick like.
It's interesting because I thought I know, it makes sense that, we were poor against United in the FA Cup. So you knew that this time around, Klopp was going to have them ready and hey, we can't do this. We can't repeat what we just did against this team a few weeks ago. And from the start, I mean, we looked good and United weren't, scared to attack us in the beginning. We kind of had to absorb a little bit in the beginning, and then we got the goal. And I'm like, okay, message was received. They're going to get up for this. And then the chance, and again, they were getting chances, but they just nothing else to say. They just couldn't convert. And, this was a game where, I think Jota was really missed because you think about a guy who just comes off the bench, gets goals, a knock off the shin or whatever. I mean, anything. I mean, that's a game where you probably miss him, and maybe Trent as well, just kind of being the creative outlet. And Connor Bradley was fine getting up and down the field. But, that's a game where, you wonder if a couple things, bounces come our way, why not? It's, I don't know. It's just it's frustrating. It's honestly,
it is. It really is. Rigo, you mentioned here with Man United getting away with plenty of yellows and getting carded. How many times did we see Bruno Fernandes basically tell the ref to fuck off before anything was even said to him? And still no card for it either. We've physically seen him say the words and throw his hand up, and it happened multiple occasions. And one of the occasions that it happened on, he was offside, but still complained about not getting a penalty.
Correct.
As you said, it continues bad results with a bold referee again in play. So it's just a plethora of things. We still should have won the game. We shouldn't be putting blame on anybody else, but unfortunately it is what it is. We'll go to some final thoughts on the game. Rigo, I'll go to yourself first. And the final thoughts on the game and the potential future going forward for us to possibly catch the league.
Thoughts on the final game? First half, utterly dominant, wasteful, but dominant. Second half, roller coaster, gave it away for the draw. Mano pulled that out of his butt. Outstanding finish, top bins. In a way, lucky to get a penalty because we don't even expect that call at any point. So honestly, I expected Taylor to swallow his whistle, it to go to VAR, and then to say, if he didn't think it was a penalty, it's not a pen like we usually get. But a draw, we're still top of the league. Goal difference, obviously, notwithstanding, but it's still in our hands relatively. Don't give up. Don't hang your head. It's not a time to blame any single player, any management decision. It's just a time to recuperate and get ready for our next matches and hopefully close out with 7 victories and put the pressure on them. All we have to do is win, and that's the only thing that we can do. So keep your head high and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Exactly. And Spurs are after getting a goal, just as I say that. Own goal for Nottingham Forest. I don't even know who got the assist. Timo Werner got the assist, played it over. Well, look, is what it is. Race, same question to yourself, mate. Couple of thoughts on the game itself and our run-in for the end of the season, how you see it going.
Yeah, I kind of thought before this game, and you just say hindsight, but, there was going to be, I feel like there was going to be one game where, we were going to drop points or slip up, or it's really hard to just win that many run of games in a title race. So if this is our one slip up, then so be it. It came a little early, and now we can kind of refocus and hit the ground running for these last 7 games. Just looking at our fixture list as well. Again, it still looks like a fairly, I'm fairly confident in our run of games we can get a result. I think our toughest game remaining in the league is, maybe Villa away. Everton away. It's a derby. Maybe there could be some. I feel like there's could be some shithousery in that game or something. But you look at Villa away, the second to last game of the season. There's possibly, we have Tottenham at home, and I just feel like we'll be up for that game. But yeah, it's it's really a tough result. We're back to scoreboard watching and just hoping and praying that Arsenal and City can drop points in this run in.
Yeah, it's in our hands, but not in our hands. We just got to do our job, and we got to finish off the next 7 opponents and win the next 7 games. I don't care. Give me 7 1-0 victories. I couldn't give 2 shits. Just give me all 21 points, and I'll be happy with that. That's the way that I look at it currently at the moment. But we are going to leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this evening on what has been a bit of a letdown of a Sunday evening or afternoon, wherever you find yourselves. Before we go, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and make sure your notifications are on for all future videos and streams, please, and thank you, so that you never miss out. We'll be back again at 7:30 this evening, so just over an hour's time. Please make sure you're around for that. We'll have Dan on for that one, myself and Dan swap this evening, so you'll be without me now till Tuesday. We'll have Charlie back again now tomorrow as well at 7:30 in the evening. So make sure that everybody enjoys their Sundays, and we will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.